I'm a retired police superintendent, and my academic background is in police management and human resource management. That's where I'm coming from. Well, I've always had an interest in Irish history, and when I was looking for a master's degree in Irish studies, and when I looked at the course, it really suited what I wanted to achieve. I found that it brought you from the medieval period right through to the modern period, and it also incorporated things like literature, music, and poetry, and it's a holistic course which brings you through an awful lot of different aspects of Irish history and pulls them all together. The course is structured in that you have modules in medieval history, modern history. Then you can take elective modules, which there's a great variety of elective modules that you can take, and then you complete it then with a dissertation in a subject that you choose by agreement with your tutors. Well, each of the lecturers are experts in their own field, and they brought that expertise to the lectures, and they were very helpful and got great feedback on anything that you handed them in, any coursework you did, and they made it very easy to get feedback and get to the bottom of what you wanted to achieve. Well, what better way to learn about Irish history than standing on top of a tower house or in a landscape or inside a medieval church and having some of the country's foremost experts there with you and talking about the architecture and the archaeology, the landscape, the poetry, the history attached to it. A huge learning experience and really enjoyable. Well, I've certainly learned how to coordinate across different disciplines and to pull, different disciplines that I wouldn't be used to. I found the lectures on literature and poetry and the theatre and the trips to the theatre very interesting. Something I wouldn't have done probably normally, and how they gel in with the historiography and history of Ireland and blend into Irish identities. I found that really interesting, and it's a skill you have to learn. My dissertation goes back to the early part of the 20th century, to the era of the Great War, the War of Independence and the Irish Civil War, and I'm looking at how identities and Irish identities arising out of that period have been commemorated, and I'll be taking some of the main monuments that are out there, such as Béal na Blá, the Hales Monument in Bandon, Crossbarry, and looking at those and looking at the whole dichotomy of how they came about and how people protested against them, and protested against commemoration of the First World War, and how all those identities have been pulled together now, and it's based in West Cork, which was a cockpit really of all those different conflicts. I'd highly recommend the course. I find it that it's, if you want to get a good handle on Irish studies across a broad number of disciplines, and to do it in a way that you can pick and choose certain areas that you're strong in, but also gives you the opportunity to pick areas where you might have an interest but you mightn't be that strong in, but it helps you to get into those areas. I found it fascinating.